Hey guys, this is Justin from Extreme Health Radio, and I just wanted to do a quick little video because I got inspired from a longtime listener of the show and a sort of a friend of ours from the show, and I wanted to share with you something that she wrote into me that sort of inspired this video. And if you are taking any sort of pharmaceutical medications or drugs, then you'll want to listen to this because it relates to that. And so what happened was this lady Nancy wrote in, and she's been a long-time listener, like I said, but back in the day she had a heart attack. And so I think this was about 7 or 8 or 9 years ago that she had this heart attack. And what happened was her doctors at that time did all these scans, found out that she had high cholesterol, and they put her on, I think it was lipitor or zocor, something like that, to lower her cholesterol and to prevent a heart attack from happening. And so now lately she's been listening to our show and she's been empowered and starts thinking about how she might be able to get off of these drugs. But she's afraid and she doesn't want to tell her doctor. And so in one of the lines in the email, she told me, you know, I wish I could take you to my doctor with me so that you could explain to him why I'm no longer taking zocor or lipitor or whatever. So I just found that line to be really interesting because it's I find this happens in our culture a lot, especially when we're programmed from the day we're born to acquiesce and to give our power away to quote-unquote authority figures, people that somehow seem that we bow down to, that they know more about how we should live our lives than we do. And so she didn't want to have to go through the issue of explaining to her doctor why she's not taking these medications anymore, because she said her doctor won't believe her. And so it got me to thinking, well, if your doctor is not going to believe you as to your reasons why you don't want to take these drugs, these chemical cocktails, what point is there in bringing anyone, even if you could explain it completely, to your doctor? So that was interesting, but it's interesting that we feel like as a culture that we have to explain ourselves to people, isn't it? Because you know, I feel like we sort of give our power away to people, to everybody. We don't express our opinions when we feel like we should. We stuff things inside. We bow down and acquiesce to people in white lab coats, to scientists, to newscasters, to authors, to researchers, to teachers, to lawyers, to judges, to police officers, everything in our life. Parents and brothers and sisters and family members and all that, we bow down to them and to what they want, to what they think. And just because someone has a white coat on, or just because someone's wearing some sort of uniform with some fancy lettering on it or some badges on there, we think that we need to follow everything that they tell us. And so I just want to let you know that as someone who is taking these types of drugs, you don't have to explain yourself to your doctor. You just don't. It's unnecessary, and by doing so, you're sort of taking away a little bit of the power that you have as a human being and giving it away for nothing. You're giving it to them and in such a way as to make you feel even weaker than you already are. And the more you do that in your life, the more you're going to feel like you can't ever stand up for yourself. And the more you feel like you have to answer questions and you have to give reasons and to share research and to quote the latest studies as to why you shouldn't take lipitor or zocor or whatever. And so you don't need these reasons. The doctor works for you. In fact, the doctor doesn't know it, but many of them are good people, so I'll say that up front. But a lot of them are glorified salesmen for the pharmaceutical and drug companies. And so they don't even really realize that. But they, many times, are convinced that unless you take their pharmaceutical drugs, you're going to die of a heart attack. The studies show this. All of the data says this. You have this. And so I want to invite you to sort of look at what they're doing and what anyone tries to do to you when they try to coerce you to do something in an authoritative way is just look at it like an offer. It's simply an offer. You can choose to accept it, or you could choose to counteroffer, or you could choose to simply just turn around and walk away and say thank you very much. But look at these things not as mandates or things that you must do, but look at them as an offer. Okay, so your doctor says, your cholesterol level is 300, and unless you take this medication, you're going to die. Now, I can say that I've never been in that situation, but I could imagine it's very scary, right? The guy's standing over you in a white coat, and he's been through all these years of school, and he knows what these drugs do, and he's had experience of people dying, and he's warning you because he really believes these things, and he's telling you that unless you take this pill that the pharmaceutical drug companies made, you're not going to be here next year. You're going to die soon. And so I could understand how it would be very, very scary. But what you must do is look at it like an offer and start empowering yourself. We live in the age of information right now. You can search for anything on Google and find it within seconds. You can literally find podcasts, videos, lectures, websites, magazines, books, articles, all kinds of things that are going to be, I can pretty much guarantee that your doctor's never heard of. Because, frankly, the doctors don't have time to do the kind of research that is necessary in order to stay on top of people's health. Because just because they studied some chemical drug interaction 25 years ago in college and how those drugs affected XYZ population does not have any real world bearing effect on how that drug is actually going to affect you. And even if it did, then it's still an offer, right? And so you have to ask yourself, why did I get in this predicament in the first place? Why is my body creating cholesterol? Why is my body creating cholesterol in such high amounts? What is it doing to me? Is it more important to have flexible arteries or to have lower cholesterol? So you need to start asking questions and taking power back. Stop bowing down to perceived authorities. I call them the powers that were. Stop bowing down to these people because they really don't know what's going on biologically, chemically, emotionally inside your body at the exact moment that you take some pill at 3:31 on a Tuesday afternoon. They just don't. It's unknowable. So all they can do is throw studies at you and quote what they believe is the clearest evidence that you need these things. And you know what? I will say that if you're unwilling to do the work and learning about how your own health works and how your body works and reading alternative ideas about things, if you're unwilling to do that work, and I understand we're all busy and it's really challenging in today's world to be on top of everything. I get it. But if you are unwilling to do any of that, then I would say, yes, listen to your doctor even with more earnestness. And listen to him a little bit more, listen to her a little bit more about whether or not you should take these drugs. But since we live in the age of information and all knowledge is available at the click of a button, it is crazy to me to think that when it's so easy to access that knowledge, that you would rather listen to a doctor who's quite frankly quoting you studies and journals and articles and stuff that he's probably learned from the pharmaceutical salesman that they learned in training that was relevant 25 years ago. And so I want you to look at the subtle nuances and complexities about how subconsciously they are trying to take your power away from you. They're standing over you with a white coat on, they're standing taller than you, they're standing in an authoritative manner, their body language is showing that, the way they're actually using language is showing that, and they've got their plaques on the wall and they're standing over you, and many of them, they really believe what they're telling you. They really believe that you're going to die unless you take these pills. But we have the power to take our life back, and you don't have to. If you don't want to take the medications, you don't have to. The doctor works for you. You don't work for the doctor. I've had people write in and tell me my doctor is going to fire me as a patient. And I've had this history with my doctor, and he knows all my medical history, and he's been with me since my first heart attack, 15 years ago, and he's been with me, and he's studied my levels over all this time, and now he's going to fire me as a patient. I'm scared. What do I do? And I invite you to look within yourself, pray to God, do some research, become your own authority, and become your own power source of your health and your life. Stop giving away your power. Stop giving away your autonomy. Stop bowing down to these people. And it's important that we do that and recognize that these people are just offering suggestions. And it's my contention that the suggestions they're offering you just so happen to correlate with higher profits for the pharmaceutical and drug companies. Just happens to correlate. And I want you to know too that I'm not telling you not to listen to your doctor. But what I am inviting you to do is to be your own doctor. Doctor yourself. Start learning and taking control of your own health and your own life. That way you don't have to acquiesce and bow down and do everything that the doctor says, because frankly they're not always right. And you know that just as well as I do. So I want to invite you to, I'm just rambling now, but I want to invite you to be your own doctor, to listen to your own body, to take care of your own health, do your own studies, and start becoming an expert and an authority in your own life in a way that's going to be powerful for you. Because every time you sort of listen to a doctor and do exactly what they say and allow that psychological manipulation to happen, they don't even know what's happening. But it happens subtly and subconsciously. Whenever you give your power away like that, it's something that you give away and you never really get back unless you do the work, spiritually, emotionally, energetically, physically, with your nutrition and diet, and on every level. So you have to really work, because we've been, like I said, programmed since the day we were born to give our power away to other people, to acquiesce to our teachers, to do as we're told, to not upset the apple cart. But what I'm saying and offering to you here is that you can do that. You can upset the apple cart. You can be in control of your own health. And I personally would rather be in control of my own life and my own health and take the consequences that come from that. If that's something that causes me to die one day because I don't listen to my doctors, that's the responsibility I'm taking. And I invite you guys to all do that. You can also do a sort of hybrid approach. Take their things, take some natural people, take your own stuff, blend it all together, and come up with the best plan yourself. But at least you're doing it yourself, and you're not being scared and manipulated into acting and putting some drug in your body that you have no idea who formulated that drug, because they're telling you that some disease is being caused by cholesterol, high cholesterol. And we all know that high cholesterol and its correlation to heart disease is just that. It's just a correlation. It's not a cause. What really causes disease is an invisible process that happens in the body that none of us know about yet. We don't even understand the invisible process. All we can do is look at levels, look at blood tests, look at certain ratios of minerals and vitamins and cholesterol levels and numbers and things like that, and try to piece together something that makes sense. In 2015, that's the best that we have going on right now. And it does seem to correlate with some issues that people have, but it's not the cause of these issues. So I want you to recognize that the real cause of disease is emotional, spiritual. It's an invisible process that happens every single day. So if you guys have liked this video, if you enjoy it, please share it with your friends. Please pass it around. I would appreciate that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be awesome if you want to do that. If you go over to our website, Extreme Health Radio, we've got to date about 380 shows or something like that on natural health, natural healing, and giving you guys ideas and different protocols and practices you can start adopting into your life from people that have been doing a lot of research in natural health. So if you would like, the best way to stay up to date is to subscribe to our newsletter, and you'll get an update twice a week on Monday morning and Friday morning. I write one, my wife and co-host Kate writes the other one, and you'll be updated. You'll never miss a show, and that's the best way to stay up to date with everything we have going on at Extreme Health Radio. So thank you for listening. I appreciate it. Please pass this video on to your friends, and I really appreciate it a lot.